She just wanted to always give to others.
I don't really think that there's enough words in this world that can really describe her.
She was nice to everyone, and she was kind. She had a pretty smile.
I mean, it was like an everyday thing. Her smile could just light up a room, you know, and it was just like super contagious.
She had a great heart. She had a big smile. She would put everybody before her.
Yeah. She was never embarrassed.
Never.
Oh, no. Never embarrassed. She would always be the first one up to dance and get everybody else hyped up to just have a good time and not care that anybody's staring at you or...
No matter what happened with her, whether she was, you know, getting into trouble, just like everybody else, she never stopped. She never stopped loving us.
The connection that she had with us and that we had with her was just, truly, it's indescribable.
Maybe it's because I'm her mom, but Celeste was very special. I think she was beyond special. Celeste was beyond special. She called me and she asked me to have lunch ready for her, and she's literally no more than 10 minutes away from here where she worked, and so she never came home. A few minutes passed, and she never came home, and I texted her, I called her, and I didn't get an answer.
When the officers came to our house and broke the news to us that she was in the accident, and when we realized how serious it was, that hits you like a ton of bricks.
I get a phone call from my dad at about 5 o'clock, and he's like, you know, you need to get to the hospital. Your sister's been in a crash, and, you know, you just need to get there. And Celeste was an organ tissue donor. She saved 4 lives, and it just confirms her generous spirit and how she is just going to continue to help others in life.
A lot of people don't understand. Celeste made this a whole lot easier for us. We didn't have to, you know, think about it. Should we or shouldn't we? You know, she made it easy for us. She became an organ donor. That's what she wanted.
As far as my dad, the type of person that he was very strong, very caring. He battled diabetes. He was on dialysis. He was waiting to get a kidney transplant. Basically, the doctor told us that without a kidney transplant, my dad wouldn't last us very long. We were so happy and just thankful that my dad lasted us longer. And now, unfortunately, the tables have turned.
I think a lot of people live their life wondering if they've ever made a change in the world, and I think that's being an organ donor and passing, that'd be one of the biggest changes you could ever do to somebody.
By you registering, you're giving such a gift of peace and hope to your family.
I think a lot of people should just look at it as a gift that you give, the last gift that you give.
I want to be an organ donor when I grow up and I'm old enough.
Now that I've have experienced it and stuff, I'm like, this is like the easiest way to like make a difference in the world.
It's crazy to think that I went from, just a normal kid to having something crazy happen all of a sudden and back to normal again. I think we got really close through going through this. It pretty much were like how I look at it as is we're like best friends. You know, it really makes you realize you gotta cherish every moment with every family member. I mean, you can hang out with your family as a whole or just going and seeing your sister every once in a while. I think that's definitely what I cherish the most. Sophomore high school, I started feeling just, shortness of breath. I couldn't breathe, and we were walking home from AutoZone, me and my dad, and he was like, come on, like, let's hustle. And I told him I just couldn't, catch my breath or, breathe.
He complained of it, I think, for about a week, and we finally decided to take him to Luke Air Force Base to get checked out, and then took him down the hallway and x-rayed him and found that his heart was enlarged.
And so they said, you need to get to Phoenix Children's now, or there's going to be some issues. So we could wait for an ambulance, or my dad drove me. So we drove there, and that's where it all started.
Got him in the ER. Within a half an hour of being in the ER, they said, for your kid to survive, he's going to need a heart transplant. He had a tree full of medications going into him via IV, and every day we watched him basically die a little bit every day for the first 5 to 10 days. And then they pulled us aside one evening and were like, look, to save your son, we're going to need to put an LVAD in him.
It's a left ventricular assist device, so it takes over for the left ventricle, and it goes up through the top of the aorta, and it's just a continuous cycle. So pretty much what it takes over for the heart, you will not have a continuous beat, it'll just be a flow. Every day it was, wake up, I was plugged into a wall to the big main unit that it was plugged into, so I had to wake up, put it on batteries, and then I'd have to do a sink bath.
He was on the LVAD for 3 months, and for the 3 months, we had him in the gym, and he was getting strong. I think he lost, in 35 days, he lost about 30-some pounds. So, he was really skinny and weak. And we were actually at a spring training game with the doctors from Phoenix Children's Hospital. They stopped the game in the middle of the second inning, and we all went down on the field, and it was White Sox lined up on the first base line and Giants on the third base line, and they told Brett's story in the stadium, and everybody was on their feet, and Brett walked down the first base line and high-fived all the White Sox, and then trotted across the infield with his LVAD and high-fived all the Giants back towards from third back to home. And as we were all going back up in the stands, everybody was on their feet, and they're like, keep the faith, you'll get the call. We got the call that night.
From there on, I'm 3 years out, and I feel great. The first thing I did with my heart when I came home is I ran, because I haven't ran in forever. Energy was insanely up. I was barely doing stuff with the LVAD, and I was getting stuff done, but I still have the same energy I did the day I had my transplant now. I feel great. Everything I do, I always make sure that I'm, doing it for my donor and the family, because, you have this second chance at life, and you want to be able to, use that to the fullest. So I actually got the letter the day when I had my transplant. It actually came with my heart. So when they went and did the surgery, they had that in the pocket when my heart, so they pretty much came with it. So my dad was the first one to actually read it.
Pretty powerful message to us, what a great gift to know a little bit about your donor right away. First line always sticks in all of our memories. He was a son, a brother, and a father.
I keep it in my room, actually. I see it almost every day. I keep it right in my closet, so when I wake up every morning and get dressed, it's the first thing I see.
Brett's going to do great things with his gift. He promises that, that he got a second chance at life. So every decision that he makes, it jumps into his head that am I honoring my donor correctly? So.
The first thing I thought of before I even had my transplant is I'm going to be an organ donor. It saves lives. It takes, it's not that long. You go online or you check the little box. It takes like 2 seconds to do it.
Check the box. Check the box, become a donor. 100%.